So my name's Emma, Emma Pennington, and this is one of my 3 churches, St Mary's, Garsington. The other 2 are St Giles Horsepath and All Saints in Cuddesdon. So 3 relatively small villages just on the edge of Oxford. There's an amazing view outside this door over South Oxfordshire. We have lots of people who commute into the city, but also we have farming communities. So we're a blend of professional people, but also rural folk who love the seasons. Trigeminal neuralgia is a problem with the nerve up in the brain here, and it causes pain to shoot down the 3 nerves, the trigeminal. So this nerve here, this one here, and this one here. If I had an attack and I was just sitting here, then as long as I kept all my face completely still, then I would be fine. But when it was very bad, if you just touched here, it'd be agony. We were on holiday in Whitby, and I just felt something up here, up in the top of my brain, up there. And just got a tingling when I ate, and I thought, oh no, here we go again. It slowly got worse and worse and worse, and I had an emergency tick operation. And this was my 4th one, and then I came round from the general, and I just thought, oh, it feels slightly different this time. And I remember sitting in the jail, still in my surgical robe, and I just touched here like that. I got back to the parishes, tried to carry on as usual, but it was clear that this time it was going to be different this time. It was getting more tricky to stand up in front of congregations and speak through the pain. And then we started thinking about, well, what's the future? The future's not looking good here. I'm raising the medication and it's not touching the pain. Because there's one thing about pain, is that sometimes you can deal with the pain, but the fear of pain causes mental suffering. So I was getting quite low in myself mentally. I'd always been told that the problem was in the neuron, that nothing could be done. It was there in the neuron. But this brain surgeon up in Sheffield, he said, I think I can see a blood vessel. I think I can see a blood vessel hitting your nerve. And if it is, then we can cure you. And I was like, what? So I got through Christmas. God knows how I got through Christmas. And then in February, I was waiting for the phone call to come from the jail. Just waiting. And then I had a group meeting with my fellow clergy in the area here. And I told them that, I was waiting for this operation, and it was a big operation. It's quite serious. And one of the guys at the end said, let's pray, So they prayed around the table for each other, and then they came and prayed for me. And just as Andrew was sort of praying that the hospital would get in contact and it would be all right, just as he was saying those words, the phone rang. Of course, we all stopped and kind of listened, and it was remarkable. It was the hospital. I went into hospital on the 10th of February, and I had this amazing surgeon. And so he did the procedure, and I saw him in hospital, and I was there for 5 days. And he said to me, I've done the easy bit. You've got the tough road now. You've got to get better. And he was absolutely right. So it took a long time to recover, and I had hoped to be back in the parishes for Easter. And then 2 members of the congregation over in Horsepath came to see me, which was so nice. And they said, Emma, we don't want you to come back by Easter. We want you to really recover. Don't worry about us, we're fine. We're doing okay. You know, you recover. You have some time just to enjoy life and to be free of pain. And I remember them saying this to me, and it was like the biggest gift I'd ever been given. And I remember just crying, and it made me realise just sort of how hemmed in life had become by pain, by fear of pain, by a sense of guilt, I suppose, of, you know, not being perhaps all I could be for the parishes. And sometimes I think, would I have put up with all that pain to have known what it was like to receive people's love and ministry? Or would I rather never have had trigeminal neuralgia? And I have to say, for all the suffering, I would choose the trigeminal neuralgia, because I know they're extremes, but I think what it taught me about how to receive ministry from other people was just a gift, really. I think this is why I want to support this wellbeing project so much, because I think there's been quite a culture of hiding these things. I don't think folk want to be labelled or have a narrative of, oh, so-and-so's lovely, but then they're not coping. You know, the hushed corridor whispers. And I think that narrative can just latch onto someone. And so I think people have felt that they just don't want to say. They'll cope with it. The church in which we work is not the church for which we were trained for, or we thought we were going into. I think some of the pressures that we have as clergy are just different to what we thought it was all about. And it's so easy to get kind of hemmed in by the fear of the day when someone turns round to you and said, "Where were you when my granny was dying? You never visited her." You know, and you can start functioning out of that fear of shame and guilt. I'm just glad that we are all aware, and that we all value each other, and that we value the person in the small church with an elderly congregation as we do a big mega church. And I just think it's so easy just to ring someone up and say, "How you do? You matter." And it's so easy to forget to do that.